Well, guys, the anticipation is finally over, and once again, welcome to a brand new edition of the Main Event Talk right here on YouTube. It's been too long, and I have been wanting to get a lot of fucking shit out of the way, and I haven't been able to until now, so now it gives me great pleasure to reintroduce the Main Event Talk. I am the main event player, the Super C, and we've got a lot we need to talk about, including the whole thing that's been going on in the past 2 months, or actually in the past month, ever since the Royal Rumble. Now, before I go ahead and speak my mind about what I think, most of you guys had an opportunity to see the first episode of 2015, which was the Royal Rumble, well, which was the Super Bowl, and I made my judgment clear. The Patriots did win. They beat the Seahawks 1-on-1. And now it all comes down to what's going to happen next year. I predict that the Super Bowl champs would be the Dallas Cowboys. And that's exactly who the main event is sticking with. So, with all that out of the way, which leads me now to the Royal Rumble. Now, you want to know what the difference is between the Super Bowl and the Royal Rumble? Those are two of the most uninteresting events in this history. You want to know why? Let me tell you why. You got the Super Bowl. You got two teams, one that doesn't truly deserve to be in the Super Bowl, and the other, well, they don't deserve to be in the Super Bowl either, despite the fact that they've gotten talks about deflated balls and everything else like that. But hey, what can you do at this point, right? What can you do? And the other event, even though the Royal Rumble was a great event, from everything from the triple threat match between John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar, it was a hell of a match to watch. There was the bad outcome that took place at the Royal Rumble. Triple H called it controversy. It's very controversial. And why was it controversial? Gee, let's look at it. Something about The Rock appearing, and something about he caused the outcome of the Royal Rumble, and Roman Reigns wins, and he moves on to go to Wrestlemania. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And the fact that it... Hold on a second. A little voice in the background. But anyways, the fact that Roman Reigns wins, I mean, you call it controversial. Triple H calls it controversial, right? You know what? Let me tell you what controversial is. Controversial is something that has nothing to do with the event. That's all it is to it. Like, for instance, something that you wouldn't expect happened. Like the controversy that happened in 1997 at Survivor Series when Bret Hart got screwed out of the WWE Championship, courtesy of Shawn Michaels and courtesy of Mr. McMahon. That is controversial. The controversy of the fact that Daniel Bryan would lose the championship not once, not twice, but 3 times until he finally gained it at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 30 from 1 year ago. And more controversy, the fact that Batista wins the Royal Rumble 1 year ago, nobody was interested, but yet Daniel Bryan was supposed to have been in the Royal Rumble. That's controversy. The Rock coming in to save family is not controversial. It's not. I mean, a blind man can see that. But regardless of how all this went, Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble, moves on to WrestleMania, and takes on Brock Lesnar. That is what's going to happen at WrestleMania. However, here's Monday Night Raw. Here's the entire whole thing with, the cancellation of Raw, right? That took place. And even though it wasn't, well, technically it was canceled, the show moved on, and it moved on over to the headquarters of Stamford, Connecticut. And there's this whole confrontation with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, which was pretty intense. And, Paul Heyman right there, sitting down, pretty much doing an interview. And he did a great job He did a great job doing what he did and pretty much stirring the pot between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and the main event could not wait for that. But it seems that more people are still upset the fact that Roman Reigns won, and a lot of people wanted to see Daniel Bryan a part of WrestleMania. Here's my opinion. Personally, I wouldn't mind if Daniel Bryan would have won it. But let's be honest. He did lose the Royal Rumble fair and square. He was eliminated by Bray Wyatt in every way possible. It's done. It's over. There's nothing you can do about it. But yet, the controversy that Triple H proposes, and he mentions it on the live SmackDown, he proposes this huge announcement, this groundbreaking announcement that's going to change the face of WWE. But yet the groundbreaking announcement was not even as groundbreaking as you had thought. You figured it would be groundbreaking, right? But all you hear is ground. It hasn't even broken. So Triple H makes this ridiculous announcement on Monday Night Raw, right? And the announcement would be Roman Reigns goes one-on-one against Seth Rollins. Well, actually, Seth Rollins would go one-on-one against Daniel Bryan, right? The winner would move on to take on Roman Reigns at WWE's newest pay-per-view, Fastlane. Which, by the way, is it a mistake for WWE Fastlane to even be a part of this event? Yes. Would it be cool if the Elimination Chamber was involved? Oh, yes. Because, number one, if the Elimination Chamber was involved, if the pay-per-view was still there, then Brock Lesnar would have an opportunity to defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against 4 or 5 other opponents, right? And then the outcome of WrestleMania would somehow change. Roman Reigns would still keep his opportunity to go to the Royal Rumble, right? But that's not going to happen. So Triple H puts this ridiculous, groundbreaking announcement and has Seth Rollins go one-on-one against Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan wins, moves on to Fastlane, and he goes against Roman Reigns. Did Roman Reigns get screwed out of his opportunity at WrestleMania? Pretty much. Now, all of a sudden, here we are. Tonight, Roman Reigns is put in a tag match against Daniel Bryan, and he would go up against, first it was the Big Show and Kane, and they would lose to Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, and then a conflict would ensue between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, which is not a big surprise. Then they move on to the end of the match, where the Authority decides to go ahead and make this a 5-on-2 handicap match. And it would consist of Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan against J&J Security, the mall cops, if you will, Seth Rollins, the Big Show, and Kane. And at the very end, all 3 of them lost, thanks to the help of Ryback, Eric Rowan, and Dolph Ziggler. Then, after the match was over, Roman Reigns won his match. Daniel Bryan didn't appreciate that. Daniel Bryan pushes Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns spears him, and the crowd just boos the hell out of him. Well, does Roman Reigns deserve to be booed? Personally, not really. But others still want to see Daniel Bryan go into WrestleMania, which now leads me to this next part. Oh yeah, the news just keeps breaking on, doesn't it? All of a sudden, the WWE and Mr. McMahon, the chairman of the board of World Wrestling Entertainment, who calls all the shots, now decides that he's going to change WrestleMania. Have you heard this news? Vince McMahon has now decided that we're no longer going to have Roman Reigns go one-on-one against Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I agree upon that, because here's the thing. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar is a good match. It's a damn good match. But the problem is, a lot of people are not going to buy into this. Nobody's really going to care if Roman Reigns wins the championship over Brock Lesnar. But however, I think a lot of people are going to start to care a little bit more if Roman Reigns loses the title to Seth Rollins. And more people are going to care about that a whole lot more. But me personally, even you guys would agree that Seth Rollins, despite the fact that he is the future of the WWE, his time to be WWE champion is too soon. Seth Rollins is one hell of an athlete, but his time to be WWE Champion, he's not ready. And the main event knows that. And you know that too. So what do? Instead of having Roman Reigns go one-on-one against Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 31, they've decided, okay, how about we go ahead and do what we were not supposed to do in the first place? And what was that I'm talking about? People have been talking about the fact that Daniel Bryan should be added to WrestleMania. But last year, Daniel Bryan was added in a triple threat match against Batista and Randy Orton, and he goes on to win WrestleMania, right? He goes on to win WrestleMania and, makes this huge historic moment for himself. And it was good for Daniel Bryan, in my opinion. I digged it, I loved it, and all of you dig it too. But the thing is, it's already happened. And now the WWE has decided we're going to change WrestleMania. Now, personally for me, if I'm going to change WrestleMania, if I'm going to change the matchup, I want to make it interesting, and I want to make it to the point where the fans are going to want to not only buy the pay-per-view or get the WWE Network for only $9.99, which you can get it for free now all through February. In my opinion, and this is not going to happen, but this is just my thought. If I'm going to change the main event of WrestleMania, if I'm going to make this the biggest match in history, and if I'm going to put Brock Lesnar in a situation where he will lose the title, and we all know where Brock Lesnar is going, he's going to move on to UFC. If I'm going to make Brock Lesnar lose the championship, I'm going to put him in a match that he can't win. So how about put him in an awkward situation, in an awkward match that Brock Lesnar will enjoy, but in the process will lose at WrestleMania decisively. So how do you do that? For years, the WWE Championship has been, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship has been contested at WrestleMania either as singles matches, triple threat matches, or even a fatal four-way match. You remember WrestleMania 2000, right? Triple H defending the title against The Rock, The Big Show, and Mankind, or Mick Foley, remember? So I propose that if I'm going to change WrestleMania, let's make history. Let's put out something that's never been done before. Why don't we make it a six-way or six-man elimination match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Put Brock Lesnar in a position against the winner, Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan. Why not add Randy Orton to the mix? How about add Seth Rollins? And for the icing on the cake, how about we add Dolph Ziggler? But instead of making it a six-man matchup, how about we make it an elimination chamber match at WrestleMania? I mean, it's a first, right? I mean, and I know what everyone's thinking. Well, how are you going to put the elimination chamber in an arena that big at Levi Stadium? Well, let me see. If they can put Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 28 in Miami, Florida, I don't see any problem with them putting an elimination chamber match at WrestleMania 31. And it would make a whole lot of sense. Why? Number one, it would draw attention. Number two, it's a first in WrestleMania history. And number three, it's a first that 6 competitors would compete in an elimination chamber match for the WWE Championship. It's a complete first. It would work, and people would actually buy this. And this would be an advantage that Brock Lesnar cannot have. Because even though he may be the beast incarnate, he is a human being. But this is just me talking. This is just me explaining what I think should happen at WrestleMania. But now it's going to be what is going to be planned. Apparently at Fastlane, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. And to them, it was going to be Roman Reigns beating Daniel Bryan, and he would move on to WrestleMania to take on Brock Lesnar. But now it seems like things have changed, because now they want to go ahead and make it Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. It's pretty much a repeat of WrestleMania. Now, to me and to others, it's a stupid idea. Nobody's really going to care about this. But at the same time, there are people that still want to see Daniel Bryan in the main event of WrestleMania. So here's what you do. You put Daniel Bryan in there to get the crowd to come in and check out WrestleMania and have him in a title match with Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Do you expect Daniel Bryan to win at WrestleMania? No. Do you expect Roman Reigns to win at WrestleMania? You bet your ass. Do you expect something to change at WrestleMania? You bet your ass. So that is what's going to take place at WrestleMania. But there's probably going to be more changes and more crap, which I'm hoping something different will come out of this whole thing. Because here's the thing. Like I said before, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is badass. It's badass in itself, but nobody's really going to want to watch the pay-per-view or watch the WWE Network if it's going to be that match. They need to change it up, and if it's got to be Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 31, then let it be. Why not? Let it be. Satisfy the people, satisfy the audience, everything's fine, we move on. But we'll all have to find out in the next few days and weeks and months to come. Well, actually, few weeks and days to come, since we're going to be 1 month away from WrestleMania. Now, let's move on from that to the unthinkable. For the past few weeks, we have seen Sting appear at Survivor Series. Then he appears in Dallas, Texas, and shocks the world. And now, tonight, an episode of Monday Night Raw, Triple H goes ahead and calls out Sting. And I said this, that if Sting, I don't think Sting would make an appearance. I made this prediction a couple of days back, that if Sting makes an appearance, he's not going to show up. He's going to send a blank message. He's going to make everyone believe that Sting's coming, but he's also going to answer the challenge to Triple H. Would Triple H accept Sting's challenge to go to Fastlane and go face-to-face with him? Well, sure enough, the lights go out, you hear the crows sounding, and then all of a sudden, up in the rafters, you see one Sting figure, another figure right over here, another one behind me, another one over there, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, a phony Sting comes out of nowhere in the middle of the ring. And then all of a sudden you look at the Titantron and it says, I accept. Which means that at WWE Fastlane, Sting will meet Triple H face to face in a confrontation of the ages. And the main event cannot wait for that, because this will truly be the setup for WrestleMania. And we're all going to anticipate it. WrestleMania 31, the King of Kings, Triple H, versus the icon, the vigilante, if you will, Sting, at WrestleMania. And to me, that's going to be the main event match that everyone's going to want to see. If the WWE Championship matchup ends up being the main event of WrestleMania, that would blow in many ways. But in the process, I don't see a problem with Sting versus Triple H in the main event of WrestleMania. I don't see that. I don't see a problem with that at all. Do you? But nonetheless, that's what's going to happen at Fastlane. Sting will appear face to face with Triple H, and it's going to be tremendous. So get an opportunity to get WWE Fastlane live on pay-per-view, and you can get it for free on the WWE Network. And the main event, cannot wait for that. I can't wait to check it out in every way possible. Now, what else can I talk about on this episode of the main event? I have a lot I want to say as far as that goes and everything. Rusev, let's bring this up. Rusev against John Cena at Fastlane. And immediately, after the whole thing with John Cena, when he had his championship match at the Royal Rumble, he comes in, he speaks his mind, and then all of a sudden there's Rusev. And then I guess the cat was finally out of the bag, because apparently they decided, I think JBL was the one that said that they were going to have Rusev versus John Cena at WrestleMania, But now they decided that they're going to go ahead and put it on Fastlane. And to me, it's a good idea because, number one, it would be good for John Cena to take on Rusev at Fastlane just to kind of build up, everything between these two. I don't see John Cena winning against Rusev the first time. I mean, one of two things are going to happen. Either Rusev is going to, be counted out or disqualified by John Cena, or Rusev will beat John Cena in the middle of the ring at Fastlane. And to me personally, this is just my opinion, I think John Cena should lose to Rusev. For the obvious reasons. Number one, I think John Cena should develop this whole thing with Rusev and make it into something huge. It's already as huge as it is. It needs to be a little bit bigger. And if it gets any bigger, then launch it to WrestleMania. Launch it to the point where you got Rusev versus John Cena, Russia versus America, even though he's from Bulgarian. Set it up. Make it into a Rocky IV episode. I mean, a movie. That's pretty much what it looks like anyway, right? So, I predict that John Cena will lose to Rusev at Fastlane. And then at WrestleMania, John Cena will overcome the odds and beat Rusev. And that will not only make WrestleMania history, it will make John Cena's character look good. And it's going to make Rusev an even bigger star than he already is. I know some people will probably agree or disagree with the things I say, but that is what needs to be set up. So, at Fastlane, for the United States Championship, John Cena goes one-on-one against Rusev. And I do want to bring up one other thing. Should the United States Championship be decided? My opinion, if you could put the belt back on John Cena, that'd be fine. As long as we don't see the spinning United States Championship. I like that championship belt, but I think we should just leave it alone and just let it be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And let's see. Let's also bring up the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I've made this prediction as a matter of fact, a month ago. I said that if there was ever an opportunity for Dean Ambrose to take advantage of a situation, Dean Ambrose should go after the Intercontinental Champion, Wade Barrett, and if he's going to take the championship, let it happen at WrestleMania. And that is what I think will happen. Because so far, Dean Ambrose has already beaten Wade Barrett, not once, but I believe twice, if I'm completely wrong. So now, there's this whole crazy storyline where Bad News Barrett has got something called BNZ, which is pretty much a trademark from TMZ, So now, to me, I think Wade Barrett should accept this challenge, but I don't think they should face off against each other at Fastlane. It needs to take place at WrestleMania. Why? Number one, I think it's a huge match of this proportion, especially for the Intercontinental Championship, does need to take place at WrestleMania. And if these two do face off against each other at Fastlane, it needs to be a singles match. And if Dean Ambrose wins against Wade Barrett, then he has an opportunity at the Intercontinental Championship. But when that happens, I don't know. I just hope it takes place at WrestleMania. So my prediction for Bray, I keep saying Bray Wyatt. I keep mixing Bray Wyatt with Wade Barrett. It's kind of sounds the same, but let's move on with that. I say Wade Barrett takes on Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania, but they do need to face off against each other at Fastlane when that happens. Now, speaking of Bray Wyatt, everyone has seen his cryptic promos, the things that he always says, and I always get amazed by the things he says and everything possible. And to me, hey, Bray Wyatt is the hottest thing going in WWE right now. He pretty much put his feud with Dean Ambrose behind, and he's had some tremendous matches against Dolph Ziggler. But who is he calling out? Who is he speaking upon? And what is this thing that he's been putting out for the past few weeks? Well, obviously we all know what it is, but we weren't sure it's going to happen. We weren't officially sure because the word was Bray Wyatt will have his opportunity to take on The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The first thing I heard was that The Undertaker is thinking about possibly retiring, but no official word has been, put out as of yet, because it seems now Bray Wyatt will take on The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And the big word is The Undertaker may make an appearance after WWE Fastlane to confront Bray Wyatt. And I'll tell you this, to me personally, I know some people have told me this many times, that Bray Wyatt versus Undertaker, some people are not feeling it, and others are seeing it. Well, let me give you my insight about what I think about Bray Wyatt against The Undertaker. It's a match made in hell. That's how I see it. Now, why do I call it that way? It's simple as pie. You got The Undertaker, the Minister of Darkness, the Grim Reaper, the Dead Man, who has been in this industry for a long time. And he's beaten the best that this industry had to offer. He's beaten the likes of Hulk Hogan. He's beaten the likes of Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock, you name it. And his streak did come to an end at the hands of the Beast incarnate Brock Lesnar. But a lot of people were speculating that the Dead Man would be finished and he would never return to WrestleMania. But don't sell The Undertaker short. He is known as the Dead Man for a reason. And Bray Wyatt, he's a man that speaks in tongues. He makes you believe he is evil. He makes you sing his phrases and make you hear the things that you want to hear. If he was in church saying the things that he says, people would actually follow what Bray Wyatt says. Bray Wyatt speaks his mind on the mic and gives you what you want to hear. And sometimes you'll understand what he's saying, and then other times you'll be like, what the fuck is he talking about? But when you put The Undertaker and Bray Wyatt in the same room, they're practically the same. The only difference is Bray Wyatt can play mind games, but The Undertaker, he's the master of the mind games. Nobody can do it better than The Undertaker. So I say this, Bray Wyatt can go ahead and speak and preach on and say whatever he wants to say. Because at the end of the day, no matter what, you can say follow the buzzards all you want to. But when you turn around and you see your name on a tombstone with The Undertaker's signature right there on the tombstone, you know your days are numbered. And the Dead Man, he's just as evil, he's just as vicious, he's old school. And he will take Bray Wyatt down at WrestleMania. Bray Wyatt, you can follow the buzzards, but The Undertaker, he will make you rest in peace. Now that's what you call a promo, my friend. And speaking of The Undertaker, and I kind of want to go ahead and bring this next part up because I have to. Supposedly, after WrestleMania 31, The Undertaker will possibly retire. But the big word is, and this is just, it's kind of an exclusive, but not really, but I think everybody already knows about it. Everybody knows that next year, WrestleMania 32 will take place in Arlington, Texas, at Dallas Cowboys Stadium, or AT&T Stadium, I'm sorry. And I want to be a part of it. And I don't care how I pull it off, I gotta be there. Because The Undertaker plans on being at that particular year at WrestleMania, which will mark his final match at WrestleMania. And who will his opponent be? I just talked about him, and there's a good chance we will finally get what we want. At Arlington, Texas, The Undertaker will possibly be in the Hall of Fame. At WrestleMania, The Undertaker will finally get the match of all matches. He will finally go one-on-one against the vigilante himself, Sting. It's penciled in, it's put down. The only thing we need to hear is an official word. Because the thing that I'm hearing, and apparently WWE has been listening in on my main event talks, because I mentioned about 1 year ago that if The Undertaker were to get an opportunity to go to WrestleMania again, he should announce his retirement. He should announce that he's leaving and he is done with the WWE, and then Sting would appear and come to the ring and go face to face with the dead man and tell him, "Dead man, I want to face you at WrestleMania. One-on-one. If you're gonna leave the WWE, let's leave with a fucking bang." And I hope it happens. At WrestleMania 32 in Arlington, Texas, Undertaker versus Sting. Oh, that's bone-chilling, isn't it? And Arlington, Texas will be responsible for breaking the record. Oh yeah, they're gonna break the record because WrestleMania 3, 1987, Pontiac Silverdome, Detroit, Michigan, 93,172 fans. That's the WrestleMania record. But at Arlington, Texas next year, at AT&T Stadium, we are going to break that son of a bitch. Because that stadium holds more than 100,000 people. We're gonna make WrestleMania history. They say everything is bigger in Texas. Well, in Arlington, Texas next year at WrestleMania, we are going to break the record. And as God is my witness, I'm gonna be there when that record is broken. And the main event cannot wait for that. But I'm jumping ahead of myself like I always do every time. So we'll see what happens next year at WrestleMania. So before I go ahead and go, I'm gonna leave with this one little thing, and I gotta bring it up because I know what's gonna happen. There's a few matches that I think will take place at WrestleMania. Word is, I think Goldust and Stardust are pretty much going to be finished off in the next few weeks. And I think they will have their encounter at WrestleMania. The Battle of the Brothers, Goldust versus Stardust. And I think that's going to be a tremendous matchup. I can't wait for that. And also, the Ridiculous Movie Choir. Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about in this one. So Damien Mizdow gets fired by The Miz. Shock. And Miz is hated more than ever before. And Mizdow is the star. Oh my God. And I predicted this several months back, that if these two ever face off against each other, it needs to happen at WrestleMania. The show must be over between those two, okay? I could care less about what The Miz does or what Mizdow does. But you know what? People like Mizdow, right? People love Mizdow. We'll give them Mizdow. Because enjoy what he is. Enjoy the stunt double as much as he can. Because after WrestleMania, it's a done deal. It's over, it's finished, and he'll be just another one-hit bitch like every other person that I've ever predicted. And everyone has said the same thing to me over and over again. Mizdow's gonna be the next World Heavyweight Champion. Mizdow's gonna be the biggest thing going in wrestling. Mizdow is gonna be the next Ric Flair. Kim Kardashian tried to be the next Ric Flair, and it didn't exactly work, did it? And by the way, Kim Kardashian, Ric Flair called. He wants his robe back. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this edition of the Main Event Talk. And I'm glad that you can be around to check this entire episode. But I do got a lot more that I want to say, and I want to leave that out when I have the opportunity. So, when you can, go ahead and follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I got a lot of interesting pics and a lot of interesting videos that I've been putting out in the past few weeks. And also, check out all of the videos on YouTube. And hopefully, nothing's been confirmed yet, but I'm hoping to get an opportunity to put together a Main Event Talk Facebook page and a Main Event Talk Twitter page when I have the opportunity. So hopefully, nothing's official yet, but when I have the opportunity, when I put it out, when it's all said and done, I'll let you guys know, and you guys will get an opportunity to check out all of my videos on YouTube and see them on Facebook or on Twitter. It should be tremendous. The Main Event cannot wait for that. So also, don't forget to check out WWE Fastlane coming on February 22nd on pay-per-view and on the WWE Network. Also, check out Lucha Underground, and the Main Event cannot wait to check that out as well. And the debut of El Patron, and you know him quite well as Alberto Del Rio, but he's known as Alberto El Patron. But of course, you already knew that. And don't forget to check out Impact Wrestling. They are getting a whole lot better than they have been in a long, long time. I had a chance to see the Lockdown matchup that took place on Impact Wrestling this past Friday. Holy shit, that was awesome, and the Main Event cannot wait for that. And a big spoiler alert, word is Kurt Angle could possibly be the next TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Ooh. And something about Rockstar Spud being the new X Division champion. I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but we'll see what happens. Check it out. And also check out WWE SmackDown coming this Friday. Well, not this Friday, I'm sorry. On Thursday nights. SmackDown is no longer on Friday nights. It's now on Thursdays. And we are, I believe, 48 or 49, or I don't know how many days away from WrestleMania. But get an opportunity to check it out live on pay-per-view or on the WWE Network. We are still on the road to WrestleMania, and the Main Event cannot wait for WrestleMania in the next couple of weeks. And, well, the Macho Man has been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Arnold Schwarzenegger is now being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And also, and I like to talk about this when I have the opportunity, and just been announced, Rikishi, who is also the father of Jimmy and Jey Uso, he is also now been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And I got a lot I want to say about not just the Hall of Fame and not just those particular superstars, but Rikishi as well. The big question in my mind and other people's minds is, does Rikishi deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Well, you'll find that out very, very soon on a brand new episode of the Main Event Talk. So thank you for watching. Be ready. And all I can say is the road to WrestleMania continues. Why? Because I can and I want to. Any questions? Enough said. Thank you for watching.